Your hair looks nice. Is it amber?
Is my hair amber?
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's called cowboy
I
copper.
got a smoothie if you don't mind.
For months, fans have been sensing something off inside the Kardashian family. The smiles seem tighter, the dinners quieter, and the energy between Kourtney Kardashian, Scott Disick, and Khloé Kardashian colder than ever. What was once an effortless, loyal bond between the trio now feels like it's hanging by a thread. And this time, it's not about an ex, a breakup, or a headline. It's about trust. Kourtney has been pulling away, not just from Scott, but from both of them.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh my
you already
God.
know what it is. Thank you.
Holy.
That's a beautiful item you just gave me. Appreciate that.
Wow.
Just like I like it, thank you.
Her posts have changed. Gone are the lighthearted family moments and "we're all so close" captions. Instead, her Instagram has become a shrine of independence. Cryptic quotes about energy, protecting peace, and removing yourself from what doesn't align. To the average follower, they're just motivational posts, but to the Kardashian faithful, they're signals. She's definitely talking about Scott and Khloé, one fan wrote under her latest post. You can feel the passive-aggressive energy through the screen. And they might not be wrong. It all started when fans began noticing that Khloé and Scott were back to spending more time together. Hanging out during filming breaks, grabbing casual lunches, and appearing in each other's Instagram stories again. At first it looked innocent, the same brother-sister bond they've always shared.
If you had the opportunity to meet the perfect girl, what does that look like on paper?
Like, how tall are you?
This guy. What's happening?
But then came the photos. The way Scott looked at her, the way Khloé laughed, leaning in a little too comfortably. It wasn't scandalous, but it was intimate. In a family where everything is analyzed, that's enough to cause a meltdown. Kourtney's been trying to build a stable, healthy life, said a source close to the family. She's finally in a good place with Travis. But seeing Scott and Khloé's closeness resurface, it feels like deja vu. Like she's being pulled back into old chaos. And that's where the tension really began. Kourtney knows Scott better than anyone. She knows his charm, his humor, his ability to play innocent while stirring the pot. She's seen how quickly friendly becomes too familiar. And while she's never accused Scott or Khloé of anything inappropriate, she has made it clear that boundaries need to exist, especially now that she's a wife and mother of 4, focused on peace.
What's happening?
I would probably sell this house.
Oh my God.
And I'd sell the other houses that I'm building, and then I would do the same thing there. And just, do buildings and apartments and stuff like that.
I don't think any of this is thoroughly thought out. This is like an impulse purchase, but an impulse move, and that's never good.
It's not about jealousy, the insider continued. It's about emotional boundaries. Kourtney's not angry, she's just tired of watching the same dynamic play out over and over again. Recently, fans caught a telling moment on the Kardashians. During a family scene, Khloé joked that Scott was her favorite, and the camera panned to Kourtney, her smile polite, but her eyes sharp. She didn't say a word, but everyone watching knew Kourtney was done pretending. The silence was louder than any argument, and as that moment went viral, the internet agreed something was definitely off. That look Kourtney gave could cut glass. One viewer tweeted, "She's trying to keep her composure, but you can tell she's over it."
Not easy being us.
Not easy
But you
living
look
here.
good. But
So
you
do
always
you.
do. And you haven't been going anywhere, which I like. Me neither.
Now, fans are convinced that Kourtney's patience has reached its breaking point. She stopped laughing off Scott's jokes, she stopped defending Khloé's loyalty, and for the first time in years, she might actually be ready to call them out. Because in Kourtney's world, once you've crossed a boundary, there's no going back. Behind the polished smiles and family dinners, there's a quiet storm brewing, one that's been building for months between Khloé Kardashian and Scott Disick. To the world, their connection has always been playful and loyal. But lately, that friendship looks deeper, maybe too deep. And now, according to insiders, Kourtney Kardashian has had enough. It started with whispers from the production team, talk of late-night calls, long text exchanges, and off-camera hangouts between Khloé and Scott. Not romantic, not scandalous, but personal. They've always leaned on each other emotionally, said one source close to the family. But this time, it's different. Scott's been opening up to her about things he doesn't even tell Kourtney anymore. About his fears, his regrets, his loneliness. For years, Khloé was the one person who never turned her back on Scott. Through his darkest moments, she was his sounding board, his voice of reason when no one else could reach him.
Regardless, Scott is always going to be family to me, and I don't want to lose any of my family. I want us all to be together and to stick together.
But as time went on, that emotional dependency deepened. And for Kourtney, that was a problem. Kourtney's issue isn't with loyalty, it's with boundaries. She's not jealous, she's protective. Protective of her peace, her marriage, and the distance she's worked so hard to create from her past with Scott. Kourtney's happy for Khloé and Scott's friendships. To a point, another insider revealed. But when your ex is constantly calling your sister for emotional support, that crosses into a gray area.
But I haven't talked to like Court or the kids or anything like that yet.
Yeah, would Mason be okay with it?
Well, I don't know.
And that gray area, it's growing darker by the day. Kourtney reportedly feels that Scott is using Khloé as an emotional substitute, a connection to the family he once had and the love he can't fully let go of. Meanwhile, Khloé sees it differently. To her, she's simply being loyal, the only one still showing compassion to someone the world has written off. It's not that Scott and Khloé are hiding anything, it's that they're not saying enough. From shared lunches to private text exchanges and late-night conversations caught by paparazzi lenses, their closeness feels more intense than ever, and fans have noticed. They're always together when no one else is, one user commented on a viral TikTok. Khloé's energy with Scott is too comfortable. You can tell they talk every day. And maybe they do, because even as Khloé insists their relationship is completely platonic, she also admits that Scott gets her in ways few people do. They've both been heartbroken, both felt misunderstood, both carried the emotional weight of keeping the family together. That kind of bond doesn't fade easily, even when it starts causing friction. People close to Kourtney say she recently confronted both of them, not with anger, but with brutal honesty. She told them she's not comfortable with the level of closeness they have, the source said. She said it's not about distrust, it's about respect. But the conversation didn't go well. Khloé reportedly defended herself, insisting she'd never betray Kourtney. Scott, on the other hand, tried to make light of the situation, joking that Kourtney was reading too much into things. That joke didn't land. Kourtney didn't laugh, the insider added. She just walked out. And from that moment, everything changed. And now the family's carefully balanced dynamic feels tense again, the kind of tension that no reality show edit can hide. Khloé and Scott are still talking, still close, but quieter about it. And Kourtney, she's done being quiet altogether, because when she finally speaks, it won't be subtle. The Kardashians have always known how to keep their drama behind closed doors, or at least behind the camera until the timing's right. But this time, Kourtney Kardashian wasn't interested in timing. She was done being quiet. Because when you've built your peace, the last thing you want is your past creeping back in through the people you once trusted most. It began the way Kardashian feuds always do, with a post. Kourtney uploaded a series of black and white photos to her Instagram story. One quote stood out: "Boundaries aren't meant to hurt feelings, they're meant to protect peace." No names, no context, but everyone knew who it was about. The timing was too perfect. Just a week after Scott and Khloé were spotted leaving a private dinner together in Malibu, reportedly talking business, though neither confirmed it, Kourtney dropped the quote. Within minutes, the internet connected the dots. "Oh, she's talking about Scott and Khloé." No doubt, one fan tweeted. "That's definitely aimed at them," said another. The calm Kourtney shade has entered the chat, and for the first time in a long time, the oldest Kardashian sister seemed angry. When the new season of The Kardashians began filming, producers reportedly knew the tension was unavoidable. Kourtney wasn't hiding her feelings anymore, and neither were her sisters. In one unfiltered moment, captured mid-conversation with Kim, Kourtney let the frustration slip. "It's not even about what they did. It's about how they make me feel, like my boundaries don't matter. I'm not jealous, I'm just done being disrespected." Her voice didn't rise, her face didn't flinch, but her tone, icy, controlled, unmistakably serious. Kim tried to de-escalate, but Kourtney wasn't holding back. "Every time I move on, Scott finds a way to pull someone close to me back into his mess," she continued. "It's exhausting. I have my own family now. I'm not part of that triangle anymore." And there it was, the confession everyone had been waiting for. Once the episode teaser dropped, social media erupted. The clip went viral overnight, gaining millions of views before the episode even aired. Kourtney finally said what we've all been thinking. One fan wrote, "She's not being dramatic, she's setting boundaries. Good for her." Others weren't so forgiving. It's weird that she's mad at Khloé for being kind. Kourtney's always playing victim. The internet split right down the middle, half supporting her need for space, half accusing her of stirring up unnecessary drama. But Kourtney didn't care. For the first time, she wasn't trying to win public approval. She was trying to protect her peace. While Kourtney's words made headlines, Khloé reportedly took them harder than she let on. She's always prided herself on being the loyal sister, the peacemaker. Hearing that her kindness was being seen as betrayal cut deep. Khloé felt blindsided, one insider said. She's always supported Kourtney, even during her most complicated moments with Scott. So to hear her talk like that, it stung. Still, Khloé stayed composed, saying privately, "I love her, but I won't apologize for caring about someone." That line would later resurface in the next episode, hinting that the family's tension was far from over. Kourtney's post wasn't just shade, it was a declaration. For years, she's been painted as distant, cold, detached. But now she's showing something new, boundaries that come from healing, not resentment. She wasn't exposing Khloé and Scott out of anger. She was drawing a line between the woman she used to be and the one she's become. And that line, it's not one anyone in her family is allowed to cross again. When Kourtney Kardashian finally drew her line in the sand, the ripple hit fast. The moment her quote about boundaries and peace went viral, both Khloe Kardashian and Scott Disick were instantly pulled back into the spotlight. Again. But this time, the tension wasn't quiet. It was personal. Khloé had seen the post the minute it went up, and she didn't comment, didn't message, didn't call. She just sat with it, reading every word, every reaction, every assumption, flooding her notifications. Because no matter how many times she's tried to keep the peace, somehow, she always ends up in the middle of the storm. Khloé was hurt, said one close source. She doesn't understand how being loyal and supportive suddenly makes her the problem. To Khloé, this wasn't betrayal. It was just friendship. A friendship that had existed long before Kourtney's marriage, long before the rumors. So when producers brought it up while filming The Kardashians, Khloé didn't hold back. "I love my sister more than anything," she said firmly, "but I'm not going to stop being kind to someone because she's uncomfortable." That's not how family works. Her tone wasn't defensive, it was tired. Because at this point, Khloé wasn't just fighting the narrative online, she was fighting for her reputation inside her own family. Meanwhile, Scott Disick did what he always does when things get complicated. He tried to laugh it off. When TMZ caught up with him outside a restaurant and asked if Kourtney's post was about him, he smirked and said, "I mean, when is it not?" Classic Scott, charming, careless, and slightly reckless. But behind the jokes, sources say he was more shaken than he let on. Scott hates drama, but he also hates being iced out. An insider explained, he's scared that this time he might have pushed things too far, that Kourtney's really done. And the truth? She might be. Scott has spent years trying to stay close to the Kardashians, clinging to the family dynamic that gave his life stability after so much chaos. Khloé was part of that connection, maybe the last thread holding him close. Now even that thread feels fragile. According to insiders, Khloé and Scott had a private conversation after Kourtney's post went viral. It wasn't playful, it wasn't funny, it was real. "We need to chill," Khloé reportedly told him. "This isn't fair to her. She's trying to move on and we keep dragging her back." Scott didn't argue, for once. He just sighed and said quietly, "I know. I didn't mean for it to get weird, I just miss how it used to be." That moment said everything. Scott wasn't craving drama, he was craving belonging. But Khloé knew that what was innocent to them didn't look innocent to the world, or to Kourtney. "I'll always be there for you," she told him, "but it has to be different now." That was the last time the two were seen together in public for weeks. Inside the Kardashian circle, the fallout was felt immediately. Kim stayed neutral, saying it was all just miscommunication. Kris, as always, tried to handle it like a business problem. "We just need to get everyone in the same room and film it," she told producers, half joking. But Kourtney wasn't ready for that. She told Kris she needed space and she meant it. "She's done playing therapist," a family friend shared. "She's not gonna sit around while Scott and Khloé figure out their friendship. That's not her responsibility anymore." Publicly, Khloé stayed classy. She posted a few neutral messages about honesty and energy, avoiding any direct mention of her sister or Scott. But behind closed doors, the tension lingered. For the first time in a long time, Khloé and Kourtney weren't texting every day. The sisterhood felt fractured. "They'll always love each other," said the insider, but right now it's distance over damage. And as for Scott, He did what he always does when things get uncomfortable. Disappeared from the cameras, from social media, from the narrative. At least for now, the fallout may have been quiet, but make no mistake, it was deep. Because this wasn't just about jealousy or perception, it was about loyalty, boundaries, and the painful reality that sometimes even family can't stay unbroken. When all the noise fades, when the cameras stop rolling and the filters come off, what's left is something the Kardashians rarely show: the raw reality of family tension. This isn't about who's right or wrong anymore. It's about love, loyalty, and what happens when those two things start pulling in opposite directions. Because beneath the glamour, the fame, and the headlines, this is still a story about three people who care deeply for each other, but can't seem to stop hurting each other in the process. Kourtney Kardashian has become the symbol of emotional evolution. She's the sister who learned that silence is power and distance can be healing. Her message isn't anger, it's self-preservation. For years, she lived in the middle of Scott's roller coaster life, carrying pieces of his pain long after their relationship ended. Now she's not carrying anyone's anymore, and that shift from fixer to free is something we're not used to seeing from this family. Boundaries aren't punishment, she once said, they're protection. And maybe that's the quote that sums her up best now. Then there's Khloé, the emotional center of the Kardashian world. The sister who forgives too easily, loves too hard, and carries the guilt for things she didn't cause. Her closeness with Scott was never betrayal. It was loyalty, messy, misunderstood, human loyalty. But when loyalty starts hurting someone you love, it forces a reckoning. And that's where Khloé is now, learning that being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything. She's not the villain, she's just the sister who hasn't learned how to stop saving people. And finally, Scott Disick, the man forever caught between past and present. He's not just the ex-boyfriend or the comic relief anymore, he's the reminder that healing is complicated, especially when your mistakes live on screen forever. Scott didn't mean to create tension. He just never learned how to exist without the family that became his home. And now he's realizing that sometimes love that isn't romantic still requires distance. "I miss how it used to be," he said once, and maybe that's the truth that hurts the most. Because what used to be can't come back, not when everyone's finally learning who they are without each other. At its core, this story isn't just about Kourtney, Khloé, or Scott. It's about the growing pains of people who've lived their entire lives under the world's microscope, people who are learning publicly what boundaries actually mean. And maybe that's why fans can't look away, because it's not really gossip and it's a mirror, a reflection of how hard it is to keep love and loyalty alive when growth demands distance. So what do you think, Hush Hush fam? Was Kourtney right to draw the line, or is Khloé just being the loyal sister she's always been? And do you think Scott's confession came from honesty or regret? Let's talk about it in the comments below. I want to hear your take. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts to keep this conversation going. Because in Hollywood, truth is never simple. And on Hush Hush Fame, we'll always dig deeper to find it. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and I'll see you on the next one, only on Hush Hush Fame.